Hi, Richard here. We're gonna check this 1999 Pontiac Transport and see why it would not start. Now, as you can see, I'm recording this video and connecting the battery cables between my car and this truck and find out why it won't start. So I'm gonna get into the car and see and check the dust. You know pretty well when you turn the key on and start it, light should come on and then the light goes away. Okay, that's the normal thing to do. And if you don't see the light, that means there's no problem. Take a look at this. See the light there? And it goes out, right? Now it's running already. That means there's no problem. So why would this engine won't start? First thing I do, I hook up my Autel scanner to the diagnostic connector of the car and find out if we have any code. This will tell me if there was any stored problem stored in the computer, which we can fix later to see why there is no start. So now let's scroll on the scanner buttons and see and check for the code. And according to this, as you can see here, there's no code. Look at that. No code are stored in the module. So that's good, but I have to find out why there is no start. So the next thing I do is check internally what the engine is doing while it's running. And you do that by using the live data feature of the scanner. So I'm gonna scroll down on the live data as you can see here, and let's see what are the sensors doing. We'll check first for the fuel, and you do that by checking the fuel trim. Let's see. There you go. So I'm gonna scroll down and check first the short-term fuel trim. And as I've given you before, the magic word here is 10%. It should not be higher than plus 10 or lower than minus 10%. You can see it here, it's about minus 2, 0.8, minus 2.8, minus 0.1, and we're pretty good. Now, when I went to the long term, can you see that? It's about 12.5, which is a little bit high. So what I did is I rev up the engine and look what happened. Now I'm getting down to 0. Okay? I'm going down to 0, minus zero point 0.6, minus 2.3, minus 3.9. You know, that's pretty good. Okay? So next thing I have to do is check the ignition, how the spark are doing. So let's see if it's advancing. So I go to the advanced feature of the scanner and look what I got. I got 17 at 757 RPM, and then when I rev it up, look at what happened. It went up to 36, and then it went down to 18 again when it was about 700. So ignition is good. Now we're gonna have to check the oxygen sensor. The first one we're gonna check is the one by the exhaust, which manages the engine, and I got about 0.6, 0.8, 0.1, and the normal is between 0.1 to 0.9. So the engine oxygen sensor is fine. So the next one I'm gonna check is the oxygen sensor for the catalytic converter, because if that one is plugged too, you're gonna have a problem starting. So let's check that out. Here you'll find I'm getting about 6.45, which is still about normal, but the normal rate actually is between zero point 0.4 to zero point 0.7. So I'll rev it up And let's see what will happen with the reading. And as you can see here, it's going down to 460, 410, 425, 390, which is about ideal. So both oxygen sensors are fine. So basically speaking, there's no problem with the engine management system. The only thing we can look at now is the starting system, and I'm gonna start with the battery. Okay, the thing I do with the battery is I load test it. So I hook up my load tester to the battery of this transport, and as you can see here, there is my trigger switch to load test it. So I'm gonna connect the load tester. As you can see here, it's hooked up to the ground, and the other one to the positive battery terminal. And look at the reading I got. It's basically zero, okay? Meaning there's no connection here, okay? And I got it solidly installed on the positive and the negative terminal, okay? So now, to confirm that, I'm gonna move it to my battery on my car that is running good. And look what I got. I hook it up to the positive and negative, and look, I got 12 volts right here. Actually, I got 13. I got 13 volts. So if I squish the trigger on my load tester, look what happened. There. It goes down from 13 to 12 volts, which tells me my battery is good and the transport battery is good. The problem is that battery from transport was just new, replaced new 2 weeks ago. Okay, look what I found.